Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Becoming Podcast. This is Kareen, and I have Jamin with me to discuss some mystical experiences, psychedelic experiences. What other experiences? Just having I'm trying to find the word, a mystical life.
Yeah, multiple dimensions are going on at once, just all kinds of everything.
Timelines colliding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to
Me
be here.
too. So we met, when did we meet?
It was like maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
So, okay, we met. I did a reading for you and we just clicked.
Did I
And
did I ever tell you how I actually found you? Because this is a great story.
oh no, what? Tell me.
Okay, here we go. So I I got really into watching Sarah Elkardi's The Alchemist, on
Oh, I love
Instagram.
her. She's
Yeah, I
yes.
love her. She's incredible. I like randomly stumbled upon her video one day, and her videos were just speaking to me. It was exactly the stuff that I wanted to be hearing about at the time. And so after a while of following her and watching her videos, I like to the universe, I was like, okay, here, like I want more. I want something, I want my next thing. And I went to who she was following on her list, and I closed my eyes and I scrolled and I stopped my finger, and it was medium Kareen.
Oh,
And so I followed you, and then I started what, and then I saw you had a podcast, and I'm like, oh, awesome. And so I started listening to your podcast, and you were doing the moon circles at the time. So I started doing all the moon circles with you. And it was like, whoa, we were like doing all these, great things and all these healings. And it was exactly what I needed at the time. And so it was like I can't believe I never told you that before, but that was like how I found you.
that's incredible. I tell everyone that I do readings for, you guys don't pick me. Your loved ones in spirit do.
Yeah.
They'll just like
Yeah.
nudge you. You'll somehow come across. They'll just like drop. I call it the gift of knowing if it needs a label, but you'll just like have a thought like, oh, I want to, I need something more. And then you'll somehow come across me. Someone will tell you about me. I mean, not just me, it's other mediums as well, but it's your team and spirit that does it.
Yeah, I was definitely guided to that. And then I just felt really called to have a reading with you. And I can't remember. Oh, it was right after my grandma died. I was like, okay, I'm gonna book this. And I'm super believer of everything, but I do have like kind of a skeptical side of me just because I don't know everybody. Like I believe the gift is there or whatever. But then I mean, I feel like immediately when I started talking to you, I was like, oh my God, this is so wild.
It's so healthy to have a skeptical side, especially because when I first started reading, there wasn't that many mediums, and now everyone calls themselves a fucking medium.
Right,
And
exactly.
people are going to come at me, but I don't care. I feel like if you Oh, I'm gonna say it anyways. If you have to have evidence come through. You can't call yourself an evidential medium if you're like your grandmother liked to bake cookies. No, you
Right.
need to like have a fucking evidence come through. It's my biggest pet peeve. I literally was just working on this with one of the shamans that I work with, Mara Clearspring. Shout out, she's fucking amazing. Highly recommend. You can Google her. But she was like, "You're not the mediumship police, Kareen. Like, just go be you, and like people will find you." And they'll figure out that like other people are still in the process of learning and they shouldn't be reading for the public. My other pet
Right.
peeve too, which is weird, I was thinking about this while I was getting ready, is a lot of people are in it for fame. They want to be
Yeah.
famous, and I do not. Like, I want to help people, and I feel like it's all about coming from a place of like genuinely go. Like, I've lost my father, I've lost my best friend, I've gone through like really fucked up, really traumatic experiences. And the one thing that has kept me alive, to be honest, is mediumship. And I just love like I don't know what I would do if I wasn't able to help people. And so over the course of I think like the last 2 years just with teaching and seeing people online, especially on TikTok, I deleted my TikTok account for mental health purposes. But anyway, just there's so many people calling themselves a mediums and they're fucking pulling tarot cards. I'm like, you're a tarot card reader. Like, put yourself in the right category because if it's your very first experience with a medium and you're pulling cards and people are going to think that's like the way that it goes, and there's those of us that are naturally born gifted that can connect with your loved ones and bring evidence through, and it's very rare and it's very hard to find. So, and it's funny because Sarah actually, hopefully she's okay with me saying this. I over the course of the last, I don't even fucking know, like probably my whole career, I've been looking for something more. Like I wanted more. And so I ended up going to England to Arthur Findlay College thinking like, I need more, I need training because I was always self-taught. And there was this group of mediums that preached like you need to be taught in order to be a medium, which I completely agree with if you don't have strong abilities. So, anyways,
Right.
I go to the school and I'm like hung over, like doing insane readings. Like, there was this one older woman, I connected her with her sister, and it was so evidential. She started crying and she asked me to stop. She was like,
Oh,
I can't handle anymore. And then I connected this guy with his ex lover that passed away. And I was like, how the fuck is like, I don't get it. Like, what? Why am I here? Like, I'm not, I'm already there. So I
yeah.
asked the universe, I was like, hey, like, what is wrong with me? What am I looking for? And it was, saw Sarah a couple months ago. And as soon as I saw her, we couldn't stop talking. I'm sure we annoyed fucking everyone that was there. We like sat in the corner and talked for a couple hours. And she's like, hey, you need an ego. You need to be like, I'm a fucking good medium. I don't know if those were the exact words that she used. And then it clicked. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for. I am. So anyway,
Right.
thank you for saying that because I feel like again, it's really, really hard to find someone that's actually the definition of an evidential medium. So just be careful who you pick, guys, because not everyone out there is well trained. They'll put their own issues on you. I've had a medium tell me I was going to end up with a guy in the military. No offense, but that's just like not my. That's not my thing. That's not my type. And they can say stuff that will fucking like fuck with your head for a really long time. So be careful.
Yeah, I've been lucky to have only spoken with pretty solid mediums before. I've just had you and two others before, but you were the very first, and it was funny. I remember you being like, "This is so cliche," and you're like, "I don't even like saying this, but I see your grandma. She's like knit, or you didn't say it was my grandma who passed away, but you're like this person. They're like knitting. It's giving like grandma energy, and you're like, this is so cliche, and you're like, I hate even saying that, but that's my grandma was such a simple person, and she like I'm like, yeah, like that's one of the things that she did all the time, and you're just like, it's really cliche, but then you went into like you're like, you weren't there when she passed away. She couldn't talk. Like, she would, you were like basically explaining all the details of what went on. And I believe you knew that she had a heart attack. And then, yeah, so I mean, it was just all the details were there. And then I was just kind of like, whoa, it was really, really interesting. And then from there, the advice. Because you connected with her, and then all of a sudden you started giving me all this life advice, and you're like talking about my dad, and you're talking about my mom, and you're talking. I was just like, oh my God, I wasn't anticipating all that.
Oh, I
And
just got the chills. I love that about spirit. Like, because I'll always ask everyone, do you want an intuitive reading or mediumship? And then they say, and I'm like, just kidding. Spirit's going to do whatever
yeah,
they're meant to do. And it's going to be the
yeah,
best experience of your life. But I always
that
like to
was
make the intention in the beginning. And I feel like it's like 1,000 therapy sessions in 50 minutes.
yeah. Yeah, it's just, and the craziest thing about it, I feel like, is so much of it was like what was already in my like mental field kind of, and you're just picking out things and like validating certain things and bringing up other things that I had been thinking about or whatever. And so it's really this like it's almost like a conversation of like, yes, all of these things in your mental field are valid and I'm picking up on them. It's like a lot of stuff you already feel, but then to have somebody reflect it back to you is like, yes, like, wow, I feel so validated in these feelings. And like, you know, so it was
Yeah.
really,
Well, you're more
really helpful.
connected than the average bear too. And I think that's why we totally vibed. I don't really stay friends with clients. I have to have like really strong boundaries because I'll get text messages like, why do you get on this? Why do you get on this? But like, I remember meeting you and just being like, we can be friends and like stay in contact. And we have. And
Yeah,
I'm so grateful. for it because you're just so loving, so genuine. I feel like so authentic. It's so rare to find these days.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I feel the same about you.
Aw. Well, okay, um let's talk about like intention setting because I feel like that's changed my life over the last 3 years and you've had some experiences as well. So, do you want to share
Yeah.
first?
Yeah. So the very first experience I ever had with just like, I'll call it manifesting or just kind of putting your mind to something and letting yourself have it. I was young. I was like maybe 10 years old with two other friends, and I would go stay at their house all the time. And their grandma would always give us some money to go walk up to the store. It was like a mile to the store. Go walk up to the store, get snacks, get some soda, rent a movie, stuff like that. And so we did this all the time. And this one day, we're just talking about all the things, all the candy, all the chocolate, whatever the movie we're gonna rent. And then we're like, dang, but we really want to watch this other movie too. And we're thinking like all these other things that we want to get. And we're like, wow, if we just only had $20 more, because we had $20. And we're like, $20 more, it would be perfect. And so the whole time, because it's about maybe a mile, the whole time we're just like, oh man, if we only had $20 more, we could get this movie, we could do this. And we just really like the whole time we're just walking and laughing and talking about the things that we want and just really, you know, in like a playful way, just kind of imagining what we would do with this $20. And so we're a little over halfway there to the store, and out of nowhere, this like whipping wind comes through, and there's like a bunch of dust in the wind and everything, and we're kind of like, ah, and we like close our eyes a little bit and are wincing, and then we see like this piece of paper flying around in the wind, and it smacks up on this chain link fence. My friend runs up to it and grabs it, and it was $20. And we're just like, I mean, I just start like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and I was like freaking out. And deep down inside, I was like, we made that happen. Like, we created this out of the wind. Like, I don't even know, I was like 10 years old, so I was just mind blown. I'm like, whoa. And that was like my very first experience of like, wow, like we can really, you know, make things happen by putting intention to it. When I was little, I was like, this is magic. I was like, we just did magic.
No, I was gonna say what an incredible experience at a very young age because then you have that foundation of like, wow, magic exists. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I always felt like that though too. Like my mom could tell you, like I was 2 years old and I would pretend I was casting spells, and like I was like always outside doing potions, and like I loved any kind of wizardy, magical, like that was my jam. I loved it always since day one. So,
Yeah,
but
again, you feel like you came in just very open, maybe a little bit too open, meaning
uh-huh.
like just feeling fucking everything. And yeah, I think my first, it's funny, I'm trying to think like I had an experience a couple years ago, but as we were talking, what came to mind was I was in a really bad place in my 20s. I was just like working in a bar, being a loser, like drinking all the time and just being a loser. And I one night I got home from work and I was laying in bed and I remember saying to God, like I need this to change. I can't keep living like this. Please move me to the next chapter. And I believe it was within a couple, I don't know if it was weeks or months, and then I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, and then like everything just obviously everything changed from there.
Yeah.
And she was the first time I ever felt like true love. That was my daughter. And then things didn't work out with me and her dad. And um everything ended up like I left. I moved out with nothing. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything. And within like 8 months, I ended up getting a car with shitty credit, a brand new condo. They had built this like new building, and there was only four low income ones available. And this woman that I had worked with, well, we were young. This chick that I had worked with had told me like she applied for it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to apply for it too. I ended up getting it and she didn't. And
Oh,
it was amazing. It was a two-bedroom, two bath, like so luxurious. And it was the very first apartment me and my daughter moved into. And then I ended up getting my very first job working at Kaiser Permanente in MIDI, medical imaging technology and informatics. And it was like my first like real job. And like everything ended up working out. And throughout my life, I've realized like, even though we have to go through these like horrific, terrible times where we think we're gonna fucking die, it's because we're moving into a new chapter. And I feel like both of us have experienced that. And it does
I,
feel like it doesn't get easier, it does get harder, but we get stronger. And with that strength, we have this like stronger knowing of like, okay, like just surrender. We're in God's hands right now.
absolutely. And along with that, I can think of like two more times where I just kind of like really, really needed something and gave it out to the universe and it provided. Like, um, one of the most amazing ones was most recently. So I was living with my mom and working for my grandpa, and like, I love my mom. We have a deep relationship, but she's is like a really intense person, and like, yeah, there's a lot to be said there. But so living with her is very difficult, and then, living with your mom, working with your grandpa, like living in my hometown, which I had moved away, whatever, but after COVID, I moved back, and just my life felt so condensed and so just like I was living in everyone else's bubble. And after a while of that, I just felt like I was losing myself, and I was feeling really, really depressed. And so I just, to the universe, I one day I forget what happened. I just like got in a fight with my mom or something, and I'm like, I need something to change. And like, I live in a tiny, like, really small town. There's nothing for rent ever. There's
Hmm.
never. And I mean, within like a 30-mile radius, like it's really crazy. And so I just was like to the universe, I need a change and I need it now. Like I'm SOS to the universe, like
Yeah.
his knees, like please, please, please. Like if there's anything I need a different kind of living situation. And within 3 days, this lady I know texts me and she's like, "Hey, I just have a question for you. Would you be interested in living in my house that I have in my hometown?" She had moved to Florida and she goes back and forth between Florida and California. I live in Northern California. Um, and so basically the deal is she lives in Florida, comes back for work here in California, and is here for a week at a time every 6 weeks. And so she's like, "Do you want to live at my house full time, rent free, and just take care of the property?" And this is like, mind you, it's like 2 or 3 days after I was like hands and knees to the universe, like I need something. And it came out of nowhere. And it was
Hmm.
like, it felt so divinely. I mean, clearly it was just plopped in my lap. And I would here's this answer to my problem, The universe, I just felt so incredibly supported. And so I'm like, hell yeah, I want that. And so I've been here like a year and a half now.
That
And
is incredible. It's crazy because I've had the same experience where it's answered, I'll say within 2 weeks, but it's usually like 3 days.
It's quick when you really, I feel like when you really like you connect it to the universe, and then yeah, and then you just let yourself have it. Like you're not freaking out about it anymore. You have your moment and then
Yes.
let it come to you.
Yeah, I feel like so that's I guess I will share this. So 2.5 years ago, I mean, throughout my entire marriage, I had felt like my husband wasn't being faithful. And, those gaslighters are really good and those manipulators are really good, even if you're a medium. And he would weaponize my childhood against me and just like made me believe that I was crazy. We'll just sum it up to that. And just one day I said out loud, I said, if he's cheating on me, I said, I'm gonna let it go. I'm not looking anymore. If he's cheating on me, show me when you feel like I'm ready to handle it. And 2 days later, I caught him, and it was literally like I was possessed. I heard a voice in my head say, check his location, and then I'm not going to go into details here, but I got more further evidence after that. And then from that point forward, the biggest lesson I learned from that was I'm never ever dismissing my intuition. Like
Yeah.
what I feel about people, because I've had experiences too where I'm like, this person doesn't like me. And then I'm like, nah, it's me. I'll blame myself. And now I'm like, no, that person doesn't like me. Like it doesn't fucking matter. I'm just gonna trust my gut feeling. And
Right.
so anyways, I've used it after that to get me out of like sticky situations. I don't know what this all has to do with guys, but I had met another guy and he was a shade ball too. And we were supposed to go to Ireland together. And I had said to the universe, if this isn't going to work out and he's lying to me, have the trip fall apart. And 2 days later, the whole trip fell apart. And then at the beginning of this year in January, I was like, all right, I'm ready. Take everything toxic out of my life that's getting in the way of me being consistent, writing my book, doing my podcast. And I shit you not, every single week since January, something significant has happened. Like losing friends from like fourth grade because of like their morals and like integrity issues and like it's literally like the universe ripped this like the rose cut like layers of rose colored glasses off of my face and I started to see the truth of people and I couldn't deny it anymore. And so for those of you guys listening, just do it. All you do is you just say it and you let it go and then if it'll show you when it's meant to be seen, but I promise you it's always within 2 weeks. It's fucking crazy.
Fast. It's once you connect in and you let yourself have it, it's there. It's
And
pretty incredible.
it's kind of, I mean, too, it's not, and I was going to say be careful. Like you ask and you shall receive. Like throughout this year, I feel like this year has been one of the hardest years of my life because I'm like not in the shock anymore of everything. And I've been so isolated. So, like, I asked for that. And so I reminded myself, I asked for this. Like, I asked for all the toxicity to be removed. And during that isolation process, it pushed me closer to myself. And in turn of being like closer to myself, I learned to trust myself more, which made my gifts even stronger. So it's been so worth it. It's been so fucking horrific and painful. I mean, you've had experiences like that too. Is that correct?
The horrific experiences that like kind of change your whole worldview and open your mind in different ways. The initiations, really. Um, I had lots of them throughout my life, really, but one of the most intense and severe was when I was a teenager, and it was um, due to like a salvia trip, which was really it was super
Wait, really
intense.
quick, what is salvia?
Salvia is a type of sage, actually. Sage is a type of salvia, like white sage is a type of salvia, but it's like from I think South America. It's you smoke it. It's like a herb and
What's in it? Is it DMT?
probably I don't
Okay.
actually know that much. To me, because so I had smoked it before with friends, just the lower dosage or whatever, but then because we had done it before and we didn't really feel anything, we're like, let's get the strongest one we can get. And so we're all excited for it. I mean, I had done mushrooms at this point. I was only 15, but like,
Oh my God.
I was like a little hood rat kid, like I had done mushrooms, I smoked weed, I drank, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were really kind of excited to do it. And we're in my room and we like load my bong and I take a huge bong rip of this salvia. And it was the strongest one you can get. And I breathe in. And then by the time I breathe out, I mean, my consciousness blasts. I'm literally in the cosmos. And I remember just like floating in the cosmos and I can see planets and stars. And I felt like I was like huge giant in the cosmos. Like I was like a galaxy or something. I don't even know. It was like really weird. I was totally nothing human. And then
Were you just like pure consciousness?
yeah, it was like I
Yeah.
was there and it was like ultimate peace.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden within a snap, I like spiraled down like a vortex with like the most extreme force. It was like a shooting star, and I blasted back into my body. And the whole like I hit so hard, like when I got back in my body, I like was so disoriented. It felt like somebody had like chopped me in half lengthwise with a giant hatchet or something. Like I just was totally like it felt like a blast. And then I was like numb in the whole center of my body. Like I couldn't feel my two front teeth for a second or like my nose, and it felt like my eyes were not like it felt like they were two separate things. It was weird. Like my brain hemispheres were working completely different. They weren't like connected for a second, so disorienting, and I didn't know like who I was or what I was or anything for like for several seconds, and I just was like, and then I started like reintegrating into my body, and I was like on my bed, and the first thing that came to my mind was like I thought I was in a desert somewhere because I had like a memory foam mattress, and so it was like all I felt like I was in sand, and I was just so confused, and everything was so confusing. And I'm looking at my friends, and I don't know who they are for a second,
Oh my
and
God.
I just like jump up, and I'm like, like I'm freaking out. And then like, this is all happening so fast, it's just like moment after moment, but you like come back in and your brain starts kicking up again. And like, oh, okay, like I kind of know, and I know who my friends are, and I'm like, whoa, but then I'm just like shaking. My body was like having this crazy reaction, and I start profusely sweating, and then I get like ice cold, and then I'm just like I'm just like shell shocked, and my friends are all wide, wide mouthed, like, what the hell just happened to you? And I was like, I don't even know. That was the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like I was completely, I mean, I was blasted off, like what you hear about with DMT. Like that's how I felt. I was
Yeah.
completely blasted out. Like I wasn't in my body. I had no concept of this reality whatsoever. And when I was floating in the cosmos, it felt like forever. Like it felt like a long, long, long time. So by the time I got back in my body, I was like, what the hell is this place? Um, but then yeah, so that was like really, really intense. And there was, so much like I guess information in that trip, like energy. I don't know how you even describe it. Like it was like some kind of upgrade in a way or something like that. That when it like blasted my third eye open so huge, and I didn't have like proper grounding. I was only 15, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't ready necessarily for an experience like that, but I guess I was because it happened. But
That's how I think too. Wait, real quick, can I ask you when you say it blasted your third eye open, what do you mean by that?
so I've studied a little bit since then, and I've also talked to other people, Sarah including. I had a session with Sarah one time years ago, and I told her about this experience, and she had said like it was like a major major download, and that it was so much information to bring back into like an unprepared body that it wigged me out,
An unprepared body. That is so, I just got
basically.
chills when you said that.
Yeah, so and then I've studied other things since then, and what I've learned is that if you open up your third eye too much too fast without your lower chakras being opened up as well and grounded into this earth experience, you can cause spiritual psychosis. And
Hmm.
that was kind of what happened to me, because after that experience, see, I was like an everyday weed smoker at this point in my life, and I would smoke weed, and I would have the craziest, most psychedelic, insane panic attacks when I would smoke weed. I would be like, every single time I would have, this happened to me probably like maybe 10 to a dozen times, completely convinced I was dying. Like I was like in the death experience. I mean, I was like I would be having deja vu at the same time that I'd be hearing like crazy like music that wasn't there. It was like this repetitive, like almost like orchestral music that felt like it was like coaxing my spirit out of my body. Like it was like, come on, like you're dying now, kind of this weird, and my heart would be racing like crazy, and I would be like totally in a panic and feeling really like I'm gonna faint. And like I remember just having deja vu and like feeling like, oh my God, I had a dream about this when I was a little kid. And like there was all this, yeah, it was like worlds colliding, like just crazy. it just felt really crazy. And so to me, I felt like I was losing my fucking mind. Like I was like, I'm going crazy and this is not good, you know? But I would come out of it and I would be okay for the most part. But like, it was like every time I would smoke weed, that would happen at a certain point. So then I just completely stopped. I couldn't do it anymore at all because I was like, I'm losing my mind. I feel like I'm literally going through a death experience from this, and like it was so scary. And
I feel like that was like your higher self's way of like forcing you to get sober so you could process
yeah,
the experience.
yes, I think so too. Like looking back, it was yeah, looking back through life is so weird because I can see
Yeah.
it all more clearly. And I wish so badly that like I could like whisper in my ear when I was younger, like to know what was going on because I mean, I kept it all, a lot of it inside and I kept it together, but like I actually thought I was losing my mind. I thought, I started have having kind of like spiritual psychosis where like I just felt like I'm like, what if I wake up and I am actually in an insane asylum and my whole life was a hallucination? And like I would just go on these crazy like, I just had all this anxiety and I would have like disassociation and but it was also very spiritual because I'm telling you like my third eye was like blasted open, so I was noticing so many things I didn't notice before and like
Like
it
what?
was
Like what were you noticing?
just I mean, I got into a lot of like conspiracy stuff, so that was crazy, but like I was
Wow.
just um and also things I was noticing was like supporting that too, which kind of like was tripping me out even worse for a little while. But like I would be watching TV and I had TiVo back then.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot about TiVo.
Yeah. Loved TiVo. Loved it. Um, okay, I remember so many times at this point in time watching TV and catching a subliminal message in the TV. And like I'm sitting with people, I'm like, wait, did you guys just see that? They're like, "No, what?" And I would pause and like freeze frame back, and there would be like just a single frame flash of like it would be words or something. One time it was a fucking Nazi flag
Dude,
flashing, like, and I would like be, and they're like, what the hell? Like, and people weren't seeing it, and I was like, you guys, like, what? And I just, so there, I
good
had
old MK Ultra.
yeah, and so of course, I got into all that, and then I'm like, oh my God, the music is hypnotizing me, everything, I just was like really going down a rabbit hole, and I felt super paranoid. And that's
But can I
another,
just say really quick, that is all true. Because I went through that too. I went through the conspiracy thing too. I did it sober, but I'm not going to use the label. Let me see. I'm trying to make one up. One of my friends, she's a normal human being, and
Mhm.
we both went down the conspiracy rabbit hole around COVID time with the whole. I don't even really want to. I'm not going to say what it is because it's so fucking dark.
Yeah,
But what I realized is that it's true. Like, be careful what you listen to, be careful what you watch. You are literally being programmed. It's not a
yeah,
conspiracy, it's
right,
true.
right.
Anyways, my point in bringing her up is she was like, I went to a deep, dark place after because we were sending each other videos off of YouTube. And I literally like got to the point, and it was when I was still married. I ran downstairs and I was told my ex-husband, like, I'm not okay. And he like literally had to lay with me in bed and I was like shaking. And
Mhm.
she went through the same fucking thing too. And again, she's normal. So like again, everyone listening, be careful what you watch, be careful what you listen to. It's most conspiracies are not conspiracies.
Yeah. And so for me, because I felt like I was really crazy. I mean, this is 15, 16 years ago, and so it wasn't really like there wasn't all this
Yeah.
stuff talk and all that whatever. Like it felt really crazy to me. And like almost nobody around me was even nearly aware of anything like that. And so I kept a lot of it to myself. But it was like really dark in a lot of ways, but I saw a lot of things and it completely shed any kind of like illusion of a worldview that I had before because while I always have been into like the mystical, the magical, all that stuff, my life felt very like that. I still had that like illusion of like, this is the way the world works. And then from that experience and from going into this kind of dark, like more paranoid place, and then I mean it led me to so many different directions of learning things and learning even more about spirituality and stuff like that, which ultimately brought me out of all this paranoia and it really like saved me too. But it shattered my previous worldview, and then I was able to rebuild myself in a way that was like much more authentic and without like these illusions of like, like I am not easily fooled, I see all kinds of stuff all the time. I'm like, man, you can't fool me. You can't bring me into something that I'm not going to agree with. I'm not easily programmable at this point. And it's because of that crazy experience.
So when it going back to when it shattered your world view, what was that experience like? Because I
Dark Knight of
feel like depression, like wanting
yes.
to die.
Yes. Like the darkest night of the soul, like I like couldn't even get out of bed sometimes. And I'm 15, 16, I'm going to school. I'm sitting in class. I'm like, there's no point to this. This is fucking indoctrination bullshit. Like I was having these really like these moral dilemmas with even being a part of society at the time. Like it was just really like confusing. But I knew that I had to just get through it. And I had a lot of like guidance, spirit team, whatever, like, cause like I have good intuition, and I always knew like I'm gonna get through this, and I don't really know why, but just kind of a little bit of blind faith, and like even when you're feeling really dark and really low, like listen to the little glimmers of hope because it's something speaking to you in that way of like you're gonna be fine, you're gonna get through it. It's just an experience, and that's what it taught me too. Like all of this is just an experience. Like nothing is real, necessarily. It's all just it's like a big dream. And it's not I used to take everything so seriously. And like I said, like I
Mm.
had so much fear. I had a lot of fear when I was young. I was afraid of everything. I mean, I was afraid of spiders, I was afraid of bees, I was afraid of swimming, I was afraid of, like I mean everything. Um and my whole life has just been this like unfolding of like fear is an illusion and death is an illusion. And like when you feel like you've died fucking a dozen times in your life in this like crazy way from panic attacks and that are super super psychedelic, like you just get to the point of like, oh well, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's like sheds this layer of fear, and when you live with fear every single day, you don't even really realize, but you're like such a condensed little marble of what you could be.
No, totally. I resonate. And I feel like we all experience this differently. I experienced it throughout my marriage where I was being, I'm so sensitive like you and if you're around someone that's like so toxic and doing naughty things, you're picking
Mhm.
up on it and then they're telling you that you're wrong and then you literally start to think like, "Oh, I'm going crazy." I mean, it got to the point where he got me to go on antidepressants because I thought something was wrong with me. So I
Wow.
literally, yeah, it's fucked up. I literally got to this like I feel like I fully like disconnected from myself. And so that day when I said that was the day the rose-colored glasses were off and you're in this like shock period, which I feel like you experienced through doing the salvia. I experienced it through my ex-husband. I couldn't get out of bed for months. And it's this like disillusionment from like what you thought was real wasn't real. And then having to like replay your life back in your head, trying to like I tried to like cling to like truth, but there was none because the whole thing was a lie. And so the darkest night, like I like how you said that, like the darkest night of the soul. I wish there was a fucking different word from it because I feel like the dark night of the soul is so used, like thrown around.
it, yes, it is,
It's
but
like no, like if it's like like clinging to
initiation.
life, like clinging by like a thread, hanging on by a thread.
It's your old life dies. It's like a death and then a rebirth. It's really, really powerful thing. And that's happened to me multiple times in my life. A lot of the times it stemmed from like really dark experiences, which kind of sucks, but but I guess that's,
It's
whatever.
always through the dark experiences though.
It's
'Cause with
because
my
it like
go ahead.
sorry, but it's just like yeah, in my experience, it just like it strips you down and just like takes you to this point where like you're surrounded by darkness, but then there's like the brightest light ever, and it's this tiny little light, and then you finally get to it, and then it just like blasts you into a completely different like experience. It's so odd.
No, it is. I feel like it's just the what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now, but I feel like you have to go through the dark to get to the light. Where I like how you said stripping down because I feel like that's what I went through where it was like I literally lost everything and everyone all at once. I mean, my
Yeah,
dad died and then my mom moved away and we didn't talk. And then 2 days later, I found out about my husband. And then I lost all my best friends. I lost all my support. And I was so angry. And now, again, like how you said, you wish you could whisper. I wish
yeah,
I could go back and be like, thank the universe. You had all these shitty people around you that were making you feel crazy when they were the crazy ones. And now
right.
I'm at this point where I'm like so connected to myself. I love myself so much. I understand that that had to happen, that he's like one of the greatest teachers in this lifetime for me.
Mhm.
And so is everybody else who betrayed me and used and abused me. And but the light, I will say there were periods of time where it didn't feel like the light was there. Like I'm a medium, I can connect. And through doing readings, I've seen this with other people where they feel like your team and spirit feels so distant. Like I could do readings for everyone, but when I'm trying to connect, like get messages from me, I'm like, where the fuck are you guys? And I feel like they're like, we're showing you what you're made of. Like, come on, get up. Come on, get up. Like, you got to do this so you're not like codependent on us or on whoever. And so, for anyone listening, if you're going through a really hard time right now, I promise you, it's this fucked up blessing in disguise. And at some point, if I can say I can look back and be grateful for it as I'm like shaking, I am grateful for it. If I can be grateful for it, I'm at this point where I feel like I'm like at peace with what has happened and what I've experienced, and I truly feel like the best is yet to come. But those dark places, holy mother, like it's just I can't even put it into words.
Yeah. I mean, and I had another point in my life where I got taken to that really dark place. It was, you know, basically, so I felt really like looped out for a few years of my life when I was a teenager. And then I kind of got over it. And then got into a lot of like partying and whatever. And I was doing a lot of, I mean, I had so much fear and anxiety. I had social anxiety, all this stuff, but I got over that through like, I started going to raves all the time. I was like, doing ecstasy in the crowd and all this stuff. And I like blasted through all these fears of mine. And then all of a sudden I was like kind of a wild child because I had been so like just cocooned out because of my experiences. But so I took that a little too far and had like a really wild year of like partying way too much and just kind of like letting my life fall apart. And I was like 19, 20 at this point. And like I got to the point where like I had to move back in with my grandparents because I like lost the house I was living in. I got a DUI. I lost my license for a year, like, all these things. But the deal is I was like hanging out with people that I got shown time and time again through Spirit. Spirit was literally always communicating to me through like little messages and stuff like that. Stop doing this. Stop hanging out with these people. This is not you. Like it's time to move on from this. And I was like, la, 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 la,
Yep.
And then so every time the lesson got harder and harder and harder to where it
Yeah.
got to the point where I was like living with my grandparents back in my hometown, no car, no license, and my life became this small, just a tiny, and then to where I finally just cut everybody off and started focusing on myself. But then, it was like I started having sleep paralysis every single night. I was like incredibly depressed. Like, I mean, couldn't even stand in the shower depressed. I would take a shower each morning laying down in the shower. I
Yep.
would just like I just couldn't even stand up in the shower. Like I had zero energy in me whatsoever. And I mean, we're talking crazy sleep paralysis too, where I'm choking all night long and then I wake up gasping and then I fall back into it and then I'm choking all night long. And
Oh my
um,
God, I've had that too. A psychiatrist told me it's called free floating anxiety, where I would get up and like, and I couldn't, and I would choke and I couldn't breathe. Yeah, it's from
yeah.
anxiety. That's crazy. I've never
So
met another person that's had it.
yes, it would happen to me multiple times throughout the night. And I mean, oh man, my sleep paralysis. I've come to learn now, and actually, you directed me towards a documentary one time, about like astral projection and sleep paralysis and stuff like that. And And I've come to know that like I was like starting to go into astral projection, but I wouldn't let myself, and so I would end up in sleep paralysis. But because of like the low energy, the low vibration I was in, because I was so just depressed and I had been, just doing a bunch of shit that wasn't very good for me. I was really in the lower astral, and that's where you
Yep.
see like all these freaky things. And I would be in sleep paralysis, totally paralyzed in my bed, and I would hear chanting, like of like Latin chanting and shit like that.
Ugh, oh, that just creeped me out.
And one time I saw a freaking demon thing. It was like this ash colored, glowing red eyes, pointy like being, and it was like just watching me, and like I felt very like targeted by dark energy, super targeted. And sorry if I'm rambling too much, but this one
Oh,
time I was at a music festival with friends and we left the music festival, went to a McDonald's, and I was like, I was kind of coming down off some ecstasy. Okay. It was the next day, but we go into the McDonald's and there's this guy who was like having like a mental health crisis in the corner and not even really paying attention, but he was like really hit like my spidey senses were on this guy. I was trying not to pay attention, but I was like, this guy's really freaking me out. And I'm just looking at the board and thinking what I'm going to order. And I'm there with my friends and we're all quiet. And then I like look back at him and he looks at me and I fucking shit you not. And I will go to my grave with this, but like he said, "Hello, Jamin." And then he looked back down and it's like it never happened. And I was like, and my friend was like, "What the fuck did he just say?" And I was like, "He just fucking said hello, Jamin." I swear. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. I can't. I was like, order me food. I can't. I went to the car and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, did that really just happen? But my friend was there and she like heard it. So it was like just that was this period of time where I was like I felt very targeted by dark energy. But within all that, I learned how to use like my light, and I learned how to protect myself spiritually. And it felt like another initiation into a whole new. So after it was probably like a year or two of experiences like that, I like fortified my energy in such a way and I built myself back up. And now I never have dark experiences. And if I feel some weird shit, I'm like, whoop, bye. I just blast it away. I have all these tools now that I've learned through those experiences that like I still have sleep paralysis, but I never see anything weird. My body really wants to astral project. Like it tries to do it a lot,
it's
but
like,
I'm
get
like,
me out of here.
yeah, I'm no, I don't want to. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So I always, oh, I'm like, get back in there. I pull it back in, but I go into sleep paralysis pretty often. Like I'll be falling asleep and I hear
Yep.
in my ears,
Uh-huh.
and it gets faster and louder, but I always am like, no, 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 and I snap myself out of it because I don't because of I've had so many dark, scary, I mean, like hundreds of times where I had sleep paralysis and scary things happened. So I like trying to get over it, knowing now that like, I'm okay. Like it's not that's because I nothing really dark and scary ever happens to me anymore like that. But I
You're
still
not
have a
surrounded by those people anymore. That's what I want to say too. Like I had similar experiences where I was like smoking weed and drinking and had these like all these toxic people around me. And we do that because that's what feels safe to us. That's what we grew up with. That's what I've learned.
right.
And so like that helped me not blame myself for picking my ex and all the other assholes that I dated. It felt safe, it felt familiar. And so do the friends, and so does the behavior because our family did the same thing. And so it's like we're like, the black sheep, the chosen ones, where we're going to clear this ancestral cycle in this lifetime. And within doing so, you have to go to that dark night where you like literally go and process. I feel like I process my own experiences, but through it, I process the lineage too of like men's like disgusting behavior that women have experienced. And then also, I feel like I cleared, I am clearing both lineages, my mom's side and my dad's side. And now, same thing. I used to have sleep paralysis all the time. I would hear like just walking. I never saw anything, thank God, because I'm such a little bitch
Okay.
when it comes to
So
that. But what I've learned, like I've had out of body experiences, and as I've like worked through and like isolated myself, I went to the other side of the coin where now I'm like my energy, like I have gone through the most horrific mental health experiences one can imagine. I will never subject myself to anyone that has bad energy ever again. I'm not going to talk myself out of it because I'm not going to go back to that place. And so I feel like for both of us, we kind of had to go through those experiences where now we have this like hardcore boundary where we're not going to do drugs, drink, whatever, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And then we've raised our vibration too. Like, I can't even, if I have a glass of wine, I will get severe anxiety. Like, I feel like my vibration has raised so much or my body can't handle it. I can't smoke weed. I can't drink. I'll just get really bad anxiety. And so, I do feel like when, like throughout my upbringing, I smoked weed like you did, and it served its purpose. Like it kept me alive. And so, thank you, marijuana. But now, where I'm at in my life, I don't need those tools because I actually have really good tools to like healthy tools to help myself through whatever. I also want to say too that when you do go through the horrific dark night of the soul and you're so isolated and so alone, you do get to the point where you develop this like I don't give a fuck healthy mentality. You learn to put yourself first. So before I was like a perfectionist and I cared what everyone thought, and like that's why it was so hard for me to like release podcast episodes, or I would like cancel clients because I wasn't like feeling like 100 today. And I had a friend like tell me last year like it's not that serious, and then when she said that it like clicked in my head like why are like you're giving these people such amazing readings, like why are you like putting so much pressure on yourself? It's spirit doing it anyway. And so anyways, going through that I learned so much about myself. I can't even like, it's a laundry list of things. And so I want to say, like, for those people that are listening that are going through it right now, I promise you it's so worth it, but you have to do the work. I went to therapy, I did energy clearings. There's a voice that is in my head where it will tell me, you need to stop doing this, or you need to cut this person out. I'll ask, I'll say, I feel so stuck right now. Like, what do I need to do? And then I'll hear a voice tell me, and it's my higher self just directing me. And now I listen to it because I don't have someone fucking with my intuition and fucking with my head anymore. And it wasn't even just my ex-husband. I had all these shitty people around me because again, they felt safe. Now it doesn't feel safe anymore because I've done the work and I trust myself and I've lived the last 2.5 years on my own, raising kids. Like I feel I had this experience a couple months ago where I was like, oh my God. Like I literally have gone, like I was diagnosed with complex PTSD after the divorce. That's how bad it was. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened. That I feel like it says enough. And so I have complex PTSD and I'm raising 3 children and trying to like find my way out of this with no support at all. And and I finally was able to like work through the depersonalization, derealization. Like that all went away when my ex-husband moved out. Like I started to feel safe and I stopped having like social anxiety and like everything like went away. So I'm not fully blaming it on him, but I do feel that there is a component to like those of us who are very like antennas and we pick up on other people's energy where it does make us feel like, oh my God, like we blame our anxiety on us, but we're actually picking up on the negative energy that they're like emitting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we are antennas, and like your environment is everything. And that was, one of the major pluses of like me getting my own space is just like I get to be in like my own energy.
Yep.
And your own energy is so, you know what I mean, chef's kiss. It's just like that's what you're here for. That's what you're here to be. And like when I was younger, I couldn't even, this is like the magic of all the initiations and everything like that is now like I like know what my energy feels like. And
Mhm.
before I don't think I did. And so that all those experiences like fortify your skills, and it like ignites this like fire inside of you where like your energy is so powerful. And that was one of the big tools that I learned too whenever I'm feeling like dark things around me, or even if I feel like there's like negative energy in like a hotel room, or if
Yeah.
there's like any in my house, anywhere, if I'm anywhere at all, connect into my energy, like the deepest core, and just bring it outwards in all directions. Everything gone, poof.
You know
Like
why?
you're so powerful.
Because love is the highest vibration and your energy is love. I teach because I teach mediumship, and one of the things that I teach is sitting in the power, which is essentially you just sitting in your own energy and making yourself familiar with what you feel like. So then when a spirit presents itself, it's very obvious because you're so connected to yourself. And so everyone should
Right.
do that because when you're doing that, you're fighting off diseases, illnesses in your body because you're literally spreading love, high vibrating energy throughout your body. And then it's also everybody's fucking gifted. So it's also making you more connected to your gift of knowing, your gift of feeling, hearing, seeing, all of it. You don't have to do drugs to have a magical experience. Um,
Oh, I did a sitting in the power. So this is back when I think I did my first session with you around that time. My grandma died. That triggered like a really big spiritual awakening for me. Um, I felt like my personal gifts were really like coming online at that point. I've never felt more connected than I did at that point. There was probably like a 6 month period where I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling really, really, really connected to like my spirit team, just my gifts, like all this stuff. And I did a sitting in the power exercise one time and it actually really freaked me out because I was sitting in the power for a while and then I felt really like, yeah. And then I opened my eyes and like there was this energy entity thing in the corner of my room, like observing me. There was like orbs flying around, and there was another skitter scattery kind of static energy, like all like right there. And I was like, oh my God, whoa, okay, that's a lot for like I wasn't anticipating all this. Like, chill out, you guys.
I
It was,
have like I feel like you have the ability to channel very easily.
yeah.
Yeah, you
I
should
need
just
to work on
sit.
my, yeah, I need to work on it a little bit more because I know I have like,
No, don't say work on it. I feel like you should just sit in the power, open up your voice memo app, push record, and then
mm,
just sit and just like you'll start to like have the intention that you're connecting with a divine, loving, high vibrating being, and then
oh my
it will speak through you and it will give you the messages. And I feel it so strongly. I feel it so
God.
strongly, and a lot of people have issues channeling. I've done like a trance mediumship class and it wasn't for me. Every time I would hear my own voice, it would like pull me out of it. I just feel like I'm so solid in my gifts because I taught myself how to read at a very young age. But for you, I really feel very strongly that like you can do it easily and it's very rare.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try. I'll definitely try it out. This is like, yeah, I think I need this too because lately I've been kind of just like, what am I doing? Like I'm a little bit of like, I feel like everything's fine, but you get a little lost in life sometimes. You're just like going through the motions and like, I don't like when my life gets too 3D. I'm because I get very like,
Well, yeah, well, after you've had our experiences,
I
I'm
know.
depressed if my life is 3D. I need some like,
God.
again, I'm so lucky that I have mediumship because it's kept me alive. And over the course of the last 2 years, my gift has gotten so much stronger and I'm so grateful. And I feel like it only got stronger because now I'm like a clearer vessel. And now spirits like it's like they can easily come in. So it's so funny when you were talking, I saw you pulling cards for yourself. I feel like you're going to be able to guide yourself because you can trust yourself where a lot of people don't have that yet.
Yeah.
I feel like start today. Go sit in the power, make the intention. It's all about intention setting. Also, the other thing I want to say when you were talking about astral projection, I feel like your team in spirit is trying to show you the other side. The duality, that was the word I was looking for before. That's what this earth
Oh
school is
yeah.
about is duality. You've already experienced the darkness. So let them experience the light. Like I literally see all of these angels. Like I I don't know. Time doesn't exist after you've gone through like significant trauma. I think it was like 2 months ago. I have had experiences with Jesus, and one day I went to go take a nap, and I just like said a prayer, like please, like clear my energy field, help me feel more empowered. Again, it's just been like one thing after another of like toxicity, and I had. It's always when I go to take a nap. It's never at night. I had instantly sleep paralysis. And then I felt Jesus standing next to me and emitting like loving, high vibrating energy into my body. And I kept trying to roll out of my body where I was like doing somersaults. And I was like, let me out, let me out. And I knew that I wasn't supposed to. It was just supposed, I was just supposed to have that experience. But behind him was another like high vibrating being that felt like an ascended master. And then my dad was there. And it was weird because it was like they were in a different realm. It's kind of like I could equate it to like someone who was trying to fine tune like an old radio where it was like I could hear them and then they'd turn it, and then I could hear them and they could turn it. And it was so cool. And I don't know how long it lasted because you, as you know, like time doesn't exist when you're
Yeah.
experiencing this. But it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And I had asked them because the last 2.5 years have been crazy. I'm like, like when I first started reading, I was a single mom with my daughter and she was like 3. And I asked them, I was like, like I used to see angel orbs. I used to like have out of body experiences and like just crazy, 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 amazing experiences. And I heard a
Mhm.
voice say, go back to your roots. And then I saw a vision of me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and meditating for me. And that was the thing where I do readings. And so I meditate to connect. And then like I'm being of service for others, which I'm not complaining about, but it was like I needed to give back to myself. So I started doing that. And then I had that experience. And now I keep having all of these amazing experiences. And I think that like,
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
really important for us whether I maybe I'm rare because I'm a medium, but I feel like it's important for you every morning to connect with yourself, to ground yourself into the earth energy, especially with how all of the harshness going on in the world. It's really important because you guys are antennas too, and we are. I fucking hate when people say we're awakening, but it's just the best way to explain it. We all are awakening. We all are being not forced, being guided to like raise our vibration. So start like everybody's being nudged right now. You're listening to this podcast because your higher self is guiding you to do something different, to start connecting with your sovereignty, with your energy, and like claim your power. I do, it's so weird. I'm getting like downloads right now. I hate that word too. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of changes when it comes to like partnerships, marriages. I feel like more people are going to be becoming independent and connecting with themselves over the course of the next 3 years. I don't know why I just said that. I heard them tell me to say that. But I feel like me and you are living proof you can literally go through the fucking hardest, roughest shit. And I have to say, there was a not hope at points for me. Like my gift kept me alive because I knew that like I was meant to be here because of it. And then obviously my kids, I couldn't off myself because of my kids, but it got really dark there for a period of time. But there was always this knowing that like it's not like this knowing like everything's gonna be okay. It was more of like tomorrow's another day, the sun will rise and hopefully it gets better.
Right. Right. There's something, at least something inside of you that is like just one more day, one more, just get through it. But yeah, it's like to anybody who might be going through the more difficult times or darker, or if you're just kind of blah, like connecting in with your own energy is like the probably the most powerful tool to like guide you somewhere else. And then like how we, give it to the universe, ask the universe, ask for guidance, ask for your life to change if that's what you want. Ask for something beautiful to happen, and then let yourself have it. Because, yeah, I mean, the universe is so, so, so playful. I mean, it's like the universe is like a big little kid. I mean, it's always wanting to play with you. You just have to like be open to the game it wants to play. You know what I mean?
Right. I like how you said playful because it is. It's so magical. Like we're meant to be
Yeah.
like kids, like having fun. Like when you said that, I saw a kid jumping on a trampoline, like and like playing running on the beach and like not giving a fuck about like social media has ruined us. And I've learned that along the way that I felt maybe I wasn't fully authentic. I had this perfectionist, like I had to look a certain way or act a certain way and I cared what everyone thought. And by going through this, I don't care anymore. Like this is who I am. Like it,
Right.
it's embarrassing to me. It was embarrassing. Like, oh, a psychic medium got cheated on. I asked him specifically multiple times if he was cheating on me and he lied to me and he was very good at it. And so like I feel like part of my legacy is like the fact if that could happen to me, it could happen to other people, and don't blame yourself. And I also want to say too, this is really important to me. If you are in a relationship or if you've ever experienced narcissistic abuse, listen or read the book. It's called It's Not You by, I believe it's Dr. Ramada. I might be saying her name wrong. Just Google It's Not You. That book, I've read so many books. That book changed my life. It helped me realize, not just with my ex-husband, just different, like I attract narcissists. It's just me. I feel like I just have so much empathy. They feel safe. It felt safe because of my upbringing. And that book just really helped me make me see that these experiences were just experiences. This is my fault, not my fault. It was meant to happen the way that it did. Yes, it's super fucked up, but now I'm in this chapter of like, ooh, like what can I create? I can podcast again. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to ask
Yeah.
anyone's permission.
Right. There's this level of freedom and like it's just a whole new world, like
It's
when
a
you
whole
have
new world.
when you have like things imposed on you, it condenses you. But the thing about that is, you condense an energy source so much, it's going to explode. And so it's like that's what happens to our lives. I feel like they just and they explode and everything gets crazy chaotic. But then once it gets ordered again, it's like you're at a whole new level. It's like a video game,
Yes.
you're leveling up. And then like
Amazing people come in. That's how did you feel like that too? Because I like literally lost everyone, like every best friend. I literally had no support at all. And then I went through this period of time where I'm just doing things myself. Again, like, what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy hiking. We're going to go do that. I used to do yoga. We're going to go do that. And just putting things on my plate that made me feel good. So if you're in that spot too and you're like, I don't know myself, listen to your heart. What makes you feel good? Even if it's as simple as like walking your dog on the beach, like that will help reconnect you with yourself. And then you'll start to continue to level up.
And notice too, when you do the things that you like to do, what are you thinking about? How are you feeling? Like what comes into your mind? Because that's another thing too, is like I uh I don't think I was very good at like listening to myself
Yeah.
before. I think, well, also, when you have a lot of anxiety, your mind is like racing all the time. So it's like really hard to hear the intuition, but like I get crazy intuitive hits all the time if I actually pay attention. I mean, if I wrote all these things down, it would be insane. Like, I mean, I think about one of my friends and they drive by right in front of me, or like I had this question. I had a friend, we had a falling out recently. It was really kind of a dumb thing, but I was like, I wonder, I was driving for work. I drive for work, so and small town. I was like, I wonder if I see him in public out and about, would he even say hi to me? And the very second I thought that, he comes around the corner in his car, and our cars like pass, and I like do a little wave, and he's both hands on the steering wheel, nothing. And I was like, well, that answers my question immediately. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you just get to this point of like everything's such a feedback loop, and when you start connecting with it more, it's like, oh my God, you can think something and it happens right there. And all the time I have a question about something random or whatever, I'll ask, or I won't even ask anybody about it. I'll just think about it, and I'm telling you, within a couple days, some random person is talking and I hear the answer to my question, or like somebody brings it up to me or whatever it is. Like it's just really odd. So you got to just really notice, like start paying attention, and you'll find like amazing things are happening all the time around you.
What I want to add is, and removing the distractions. Like I had, again, like I asked my higher self universe, what is getting in the way? And this is so stupid, but it was like TikTok, and it was like making me fearful. And one day, I text my brother because I saw something on TikTok, and he's like, I have lunch break. I'll call you at noon. And so he's like, list out all your fears. And so I'm like listing them out. He's like, no, that's not true. Like, blah, blah. And he's like, have you ever thought about reading a book? And I'm like, actually, I do read books. I'm like, okay, I promise you, I'm just gonna fucking delete the app. And I don't know how many followers, but I literally deleted my account. I think it's been like 4 weeks. I don't know. Again, time doesn't exist. But I texted my brother a couple of days ago. I said, hey, my mental health's 80% better since deleting TikTok. And then I have a
Yeah,
time limit for Instagram, only 30 minutes a day. Like again, there's so I don't watch any. The only thing that I'm watching right now, which is so kind of embarrassing, is Dancing with the Stars. Like I can't even I used to watch The Real Housewives, Dateline. Like I can't watch any of that shit anymore. It's just like you vibrate out of things. And so like if you're struggling with like eating too much, smoking, whatever, I don't focus on that. Focus on healing within, and then I swear to God, I naturally released everything that I was struggling with.
right. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, when you gotta fill whatever you're missing with like your own energy and with your own joy. And I'm not perfect at it. I still have certain vices every now and then, and drinking's been one thing that I've always like kind of teetered back and forth with because I've been totally sober for like up to like a year and a half of period of time, and then like end up drinking a little bit, and then find like it's just
It's a
you know
spiral. You spiral back into it,
spiral
and then you learn.
back into it, you spiral back out of it. But it's definitely one of those things where like lately I'm like, okay, this it gets old. And you
You
just
get
kind of
sick and
like,
tired of your own bullshit.
yeah, exactly. And like I'm such the architect of my own suffering in a lot of ways, and so and I know that now. Like before, it's like, oh God, the world, bleh, but it's like no, like you have so much power to just make different choices. And one different choice, like it like totally like moves the inertia of that one choice can like move you into a completely different place so easily. It's
I
just there's
love
so
that. I love how you said that you're the architect of your own suffering. We all are, and we all this might piss a lot of people off, but whatever's happening in your life, you're 50% of the problem. You're choosing it. You're allowing it in some way. Maybe it's an experience that you had. It's probably is an experience that you had that you have yet to heal. And that's what I learned through all of this is and it just real having that realization, and then maybe I don't realize like what needs to be healed, but then I'll ask the universe, and then the universe again shows me, and sometimes it does feel like a fuck, like a slap in the face, but I rather have the awareness and like the like the the gut punch instead of like continuing to do the same thing over and over again. Like my now I'm at the point where like I am happy. Like I don't feel like I've ever been happy in my life. Like yeah, I have crazy shit still going on, but I have learned to like, it's kind of like I'm in this bubble in space, and then like there's shit going on outside of my bubble, and it could be chaotic out there, and I can open the door, and sometimes I have to go and deal with it because that's part of life. But then I can come back in to my own sanctuary and I can feel safe again. And so again, like you guys can get to that point too. You just have to do the work.
Yeah, it's all about doing the work and changing the way that you perceive things.
Yes.
That's a huge aspect of it. It's just perception changing. Because if even if you do none of the work, but you change the way you perceive things, that's like 50% of the battle right there.
I agree with you. And changing the way you perceive things means to me, what role am I playing in this? Like, you could blame your parents, I could blame my ex, I could blame whoever, but it's like, wait, nope, you had a part, you were dancing in this dance too. So, like, taking responsibility for that as well. And, like, I feel like if you can do that, some people need help, some people like guidance, and some people don't. And so, if you're struggling, I don't know. I've made intentions with the universe. Show me and let me get through this. Expedite me through this. And I expedite through it so I don't have to sit in it for years and years and years. And again, I'm so grateful because now I'm not letting people walk all over me. And I have so much empathy for like my younger self. And I saw this thing the other day, and it was like, if you could have $10 million or go back and be 6 years old with the knowledge that you have, which one would you pick? Which one would you pick?
6 years old, absolutely.
Same. I would pick
Without
six
a
years old.
Absolutely. Because I could rule the fucking I don't even want to rule. You know what I'm saying? Like I could rule the world at that point. Like just being young and knowing like what a deeper level of what the world is. And like I said, I had all these crazy weird fears when I was little. I was always afraid of everything, and I was afraid to like be myself, and I was afraid to like I grew up gay in a small little town, and like there's always like little secrets, and like I had like chaotic home life, and like domestic violence and drug abuse and blah, blah, like all these things. Like there was a lot of reasons to be kind of fearful, but like in the grand scheme of it, none of it ever actually like really mattered that much. It was all just an experience. And of course, when you're young, you don't know that. But basically going back, knowing then what I know now, I mean, I would be completely vibrant in every single way. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be afraid to be fully in my energy to like shine as a person.
No, imagine all of like the suffering you could eliminate.
Oh my God, it would be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's actually like that's like inner child work too, though. I mean, going in even because I'm just getting this little thought about that. I'm like, even if you could go in and tell your inner child at that age, like all of the things you wish they would have known, and then like let them experience that in like a in a vision, in a journey or whatever of
I
like
do that. Do you do that? I do visualizations like
I,
that.
oh, I do stuff like that all the time. Like I just kind of whenever I feel called to it, I'll go in. I do all kinds of, I'll do inner child work on myself. I'll do if I feel like I am like, getting sick or whatever, I'll like, go in a little journey and I'll be in my lungs and I'm like, whoa, like shining light in there and
Yep.
doing different things. Like I just do all kinds of, I do whatever I feel called to do.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have that knowing, but they lack faith or they're just not
Yeah.
connected with themselves. So I hope this episode has helped those of you listening reclaim your power, be honest with yourself. If you're miserable at your job, if like you're making yourself small because of family, if it's a relationship or you're in a stuck bad habit, ask the universe. Ask the universe, say, like, please help me release this in a loving, gentle way, and then let it be. And I promise you, within 2 weeks, your life will change. And for those of you that actually do this, please share. Send me an email, mediumkareen@gmail.com. I want to hear all about it. I think we should. I think we should stop here. We've shared a
Yeah,
lot.
that was, yeah, we did. That was
Thank
great though.
you. No, thank you for being so
Yeah,
authentic
of
and
course.
open. I feel like it's just so with how the world is social media paints everyone's life to be so perfect and I do so many readings and everybody's suffering right now. So let's just like that's the point of this podcast. Like me sharing, other people sharing, like hopefully it'll get you out of that victim mentality and have this inner knowing like you're meant to go through things, but you're going to get out of it and you'll come out the other side a better version of yourself if you choose to the perception shift. And if
Yeah.
you'll have a knowing how to guide yourself, you are a strong sovereign being. We are guided to just like we're trained to give our power away. Reclaim your power. Ask the universe to help you.
Yeah, all the hard things in your life are teaching you how to get through those things. They're all fortifying your energy. Like nothing is happening to you to assault you. It's happening to you to build your armor. And it's that perception change where you're like, all of this has made me stronger. It hasn't taken anything from me. It's actually enlivened this inner fire. And you gotta
Right.
let it burn. You're a Jedi.
I love that. This we'll end with this. I do a lot of readings and I get to watch a lot of people watch their life back after they pass away. And when I was going through the darkest time, like the darkest, deepest, hopeless time, I remember like that popping into my head. Like when I watch my life back, I want to watch myself pull myself out of this without anyone's help and know that like I did this all by myself. I didn't have to depend on anyone. And I feel like now moving forward, I have the tools with whatever life throws at me to be able to handle and not crumble where I would crumble before. And I had the anxiety's gone, the depression's gone. And like, yeah, I have bad days and shit, but like, I don't know. There was just like, it's kind of like a tsunami happened and it just like cleared everything away. And with that, now I have like peace. And it's what I've been praying for my entire life. So, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, of course. That was awesome. Thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on again and talk some more about like psychedelics and stuff.
Yeah, we could do that for sure.
All right, thank you guys so much for listening. If you want more information, there'll be like information on how to book a reading with me in the notes section and some other stuff with classes that I'm teaching. Yeah, thanks for listening.